You ever notice how America loves calling other countries developing nations, yet half the stuff they criticize exists in their own backyard, just with maybe better branding? Let's be real for a second here. If the United States did not have Hollywood or the dollar and military bases anywhere, we'd probably call it what it really is: an unstable, over-leveraged, poorly managed empire with third world symptoms hiding under a first world logo. Let's start with safety. America is the only so called developed country where parents have to drop their kids off at school and genuinely and fervently pray that they come home alive. The country leads the world in school shootings, not education. The average citizen owns more guns than savings accounts. Mass violence is not treated like an emergency, it's treated like background noise. In most parts of the world, that level of insecurity would be called civil unrest. In the US, it's just another Tuesday. So now we move on to the financial systems. The richest country on earth is drowning in debt, national, corporate, and personal. 40% of Americans can't even afford a $400 emergency. Millions live paycheck to paycheck, juggling credit cards to survive. If another country had that kind of instability, the IMF would call it a crisis economy. But America calls it the middle class. You've got people driving Teslas to food banks. That's not prosperity. That is delusion. Let's not even start with the governance. The US has mastered gridlock. Two parties pretending to fight for people while they are really protecting the same corporate interests. $1 billion elections, billionaire donors, $1 billion corruption. Billions and billions. They don't call it state capture like we do in developing countries. They call it lobbying. But it's the same thing. Private money buying public power. Then there's education. You would think that a $1 trillion economy would have world-class schools. Instead, America is ranked far below most developed nations in math, reading, and science. Teachers are underpaid, classrooms are overcrowded, and higher education is buried under student loans so heavy they function essentially like modern slavery. They teach kids about freedom, but change them to debt before they even turn 25. Policing and justice is just another illusion. They love to talk about law and order, but the law does not protect everyone equally. It's militarized policing in poor areas, soft justice in rich ones. Prisons are overflowing with minorities while corporate criminals are walking free. The system does not reform, it just recycles. In a so-called first world democracy, people are still protesting for the right not to be shot on camera. And let's not forget the ideology. America exports the illusion of freedom while internally running on fear and control. Every opinion is a political war. Every narrative is manipulated by media giants. People scream about liberty but can't afford healthcare. They call socialism evil while half the country survives on government programs such as EBT or SNAP or food stamps, whatever they call it. They mock other countries for censorship while their own tech companies quietly decide what the public sees and what the public thinks. So yeah, if you strip away the marketing, America looks a lot like a third world nation with a better Wi-Fi connection and better camera angles. It's got all the symptoms: crumbling infrastructure, rising inequality, corrupt elites, broken institutions, and citizens divided by design. The only difference is they've convinced themselves that they are still number one. And that's the tragedy. The country is not collapsing because it is weak. It is collapsing because it refuses to admit that it is sick.